was perfect timing. If you will open it up for us, actually, before we get into that, we have several people who have signed up for the public hearing. So after Representative Johnson opens the bill up, you will each have 2 minutes to tell us your comments related to this bill. And again, we won't be voting on this bill today, but we will have time to think through some of the comments and see what other work needs to be done. So, Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman or Chairperson. I'm always getting confused in that. And members, before this committee, you've had midwifery, however you want to say it. I went to school in Arkansas, so y'all got excused. But we had, this year is a little different because we put into this language restrictions and qualifications that are several years ahead of itself. For 2020, some of this terminology, some of these requirements for education, for experience, are going to be the model across the nation. So we went ahead and incorporated that. And what's unusual is that we have every state nearly around us allows midwives to practice. It goes back since nearly the beginning of time. And we have seen, I come from my father, in the days he was born in 1920, that's what everybody was dependent on. And we believe that childbirth is not a medical process, but more of a natural process. We all recognize, and I don't want to in any way hint, that there are sometimes not problematic pregnancies that require the intervention of a specialist or a doctor. Just a little over a month ago, I had my 5th grandchild born. My wife was in the waiting room. The doctor come out, and she said, they told her, so they came and got the doctor. She went back in and literally was back out in 10 minutes. And it is, and because under normal childbirth, it is not a complicated, and most childbirths are not complicated. Prenatal care is important, but what we're talking about here is mothers having the right to not be criminals in Alabama who want to have or at least have a midwife present with them, not to criminalize these folks. And we're saying this, instead of this happening, we want to educate these people to be educated. We want them to not be present at high risk. We don't want them to be present if there's anything. It is a different world than it was 30 years ago. We have ultrasound. We have a lot of things that we know today. And this, I will say, our bill incorporates all of that in, that we would like to see why mothers not driving to Tennessee, not driving to other places, Mississippi, to deliver children. They ought to have that right here in Alabama. And that right ought to be regulated. And the state, the health department, and other people have input on who that is and how present the parameters are for that delivery. And I guess that's a simplification of it to where our perspective is, Mr. Chairman.
We will move into our public hearing portion. Okay, so as we call your name, each of you will have 2 minutes to give us your comments. And the clerk calls time, and you will wrap up your comments, please. First proponent is Casey Cavender.